Welcome to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan, and we don't have a guest this week, but we might have, Seb. It's always a question of
maybe
whether
potentially
we'll have her.
she's like, she came into the office and she's like, hey, I love you, we're not going to do the podcast, yay, okay. And I'm like,
I guarantee. I mean, yeah, it is a long movie.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
We're watching. We're watching Inception this week.
Yes.
So it is, a long movie. Christopher Nolan, 2010. It's a time. This movie is a whole trip, honestly.
yeah,
Like,
it's a trip and fall.
It's a trip within a trip within a trip.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You were blowing my mind, man.
Oh my God. But yeah, so we'll get to all that usual stuff we got going on at some point. But first, where can you find us? We're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. We have posts every week about teases of what's coming next on Friday, and we reveal what movie we watched that week on Sunday, along with the actual episode. And when we do actual movie reviews that are in theaters, we release them on Fridays, the day they come out in theaters. Hopefully, most of the time we try to do that.
We try to do that, yeah.
Yeah, we try to do
no
our best.
Promises for everything, though.
No
guarantees.
To go to like the preview night showings on Thursday night, then get an episode out as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Just so you guys have it in the back of your mind to listen to us talk about whatever shit we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be a lot of random shit.
What?
Well, if you followed Movie Drunks at all,
yeah.
We were drunk, but we still told stories and like random shit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably still talk about random stuff, but we are going to do it in a more organized fashion.
Okay.
In a way, organized.
I'll try.
We'll try. We might get off topic, but that's what I'm here for. I can just back the fuck on track.
Yeah, you're
track.
You would always be like, okay, guys, let's bring it back.
Come on, guys. Anyway, so let's. We gotta go to Inception now. So, not go to. We're just gonna go watch it.
Let's go do a podcast inside of a podcast inside of a podcast.
Oh, how the fuck are we gonna do that?
We'll figure it out, bro.
All right, let's get to it.
And we are back in the studio recording room to do the podcast. I'm
just staring at you and waiting to see how long it takes you to stop talking. Okay, so Inception. I've seen this movie. This is I think my third time seeing this movie, and it's been a few years since I saw it last.
Yeah, I think it's my fourth. I haven't seen it in 5 years though.
Yeah, it's probably been 3, 4 since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw it, so that this is a good time to watch it. Because I forgot the names of all of these people.
Yeah, I knew Cobb,
and
then Ariadne, just because that's a weird name. But yeah, I forgot Saito and Arthur and what's his name, Yusuf and Eames. Those are all the five, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember this time. Go me.
So if speaking of the names here, there's an interesting piece of trivia I found that I was like, this is too good to pass up.
Okay.
So if you take the first letters of the main characters' names, Dom, Robert, Eames, Arthur, Mal, and Saito, spells dreams. And then if you add Peter, Ariadne, and Yusuf, dreams pay.
Dreams pay. Interesting. There's a lot of weird stuff like that.
Which is what they do for a mind thief. Dreams pay.
Yeah, they dream. Yeah. That's cool.
It's very interesting, how deep this movie is on. I don't know if that was a straight coincidence or
Oh, I doubt it.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Christopher Nolan was writing this movie for 11 years.
That's true.
So, and I remember if anyone watched the facts, the fun facts that we did before this movie.
Yeah, on our socials.
You can find that in the socials. Yeah. One of them was that Christopher Nolan spent 11 years writing this movie, and what was I going to say? Oh, he barely researched actual dreams.
Yeah,
he just kind of fucking went off on his own.
Yeah, I mean, when doesn't he do that? First of all,
true.
Have you seen Interstellar? Have you seen Tenet? Oh my God, Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet has its own rules. Yeah, but yeah, Christopher Nolan's that Ron Swanson meme where he shows up at Lowe's or Home Depot, and he's just like, "Hey, sir, how can I help you?" He's like, and then Ron Swanson just like, "I know more than you."
Honestly, yeah, he's seems to be a very interesting man.
Yeah, well, very Nolan-ish. That was dumb.
What? Okay.
He's his own person. That's what I was gonna.
You're your own person.
He's his own breed of person. He's like the intellectual filmmaker.
True.
You know, he's like a David Fincher, but not as like gruesome.
Yeah.
The thinking man's director.
That's a good point. So let's start from the beginning of this movie. So we start off kind of at the end. Spoiler alert.
Right, because we always had a time loop and shit. Because it's a Nolan movie.
Of course. So, yeah, Saito and Cobb at the end. We don't know it's Saito if at the beginning of the movie is the old man.
Yeah.
But they sort of explain it throughout the movie. It takes a few times of watching this movie to really get the fact that this movie is...
This movie's dense.
Yeah.
And
like I still haven't figured everything out. And I was looking up stuff on like different websites trying to get like a synopsis of this. And I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. Like,
so
fuck.
the interesting thing about this movie is that like when I first watched it, I thought I got it. I'm just like, oh yeah, why? I don't know why everyone's. I get it, you know. But I didn't realize what people were saying when they said they had to rewatch it multiple times to really understand the story. They meant like logically in certain like extra questions that they brought up themselves that don't have anything to do with the story, but like are just interesting to like think about. So like one that I have that I always have when I watch this movie is you just got to suspend your disbelief because there's no answer. Like, how do they share dreams? Oh, they just have a machine that can put everybody in the same dream. Mm-hmm. Like, I never like that one too much. Okay. Because it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You gotta find plot conveniences where you can, and it's where I think the reason why he spent 11 years writing this movie is because he wanted to fill as many plot holes as he possibly could, but ultimately you're still gonna have some.
You're always gonna have some.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, not even Nolan.
Yeah.
So back to that opening scene still. I mentioned this while we were watching it, but when so Saito wakes up before Cobb does.
Right.
And Cobb is in Saito's mind. How does that even work?
I have no fucking clue, bro.
So there's a plot hole right away. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, it was very empty, and then the water comes rushing in because he gets dunked. Mm-hmm. But, like, how is he still in that realm? Shouldn't it just be, like, blank nothingness
like, it should be, like, just disappeared at that point. Like, logically, because, I mean, we don't know. Do you know if there have ever been, like, group dreams together?
I mean, I'm sure there are things like that,
like where people can genuinely say that like they experienced the same dream together and then they were interacting inside the dream. Like, I wonder if that's ever been a thing. Because if it is true, then we can do that experiment where like we find out like, oh, one person who's supposedly dreaming the dream. Well, actually, well, no, because that's the internal logic of this movie is that somebody is the dreamer and everybody else is inside of that dream.
Yes.
Instead of instead of having like one like Google account where it has like the business email, like, you know how G Suite works where like you have a bunch of individual Google accounts that share or that are into a group. That's how we interact.
Yeah, that's how we do
with
it.
with our Gmail.
Yeah.
So seen it before at wascorp.com doesn't exist as a Google account. It's an email that is attached to 3 different.
It's a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how we interact, but but yeah, I think that's how like dreams should work, or that's how they probably do if we were to have group dreams, but like it's not the internal logic of this movie. So yeah, I don't know why Cobb is still in the dream then, if the dreamer is awake. And
I was looking, I was trying to find out, I'm like, oh, that should be in like the trivia on IMDb or something, but it wasn't. It's like, so maybe it just hasn't been explained or something. Yeah, or it's just something that people accept as part of the movie.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of these like questions that are raised is like, just go with it. It doesn't really mean anything, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Because we got that cool moment with like the water hoses like coming into the windows and stuff. That's a cool shot. So
yeah. That's one of those shots.
Dramatic.
It's dramatic. It's yeah, it's
Well,
whatever.
actually, don't they do it again? Don't they do it again with Cobb at the end when he's the last one to wake up when they're in Fisher's dream?
Oh yeah,
But like, if Fisher's awake, the dream doesn't exist.
Thing right there. Yep.
Yeah, so you just got to go with it, I guess.
Like your conscious should not be like it. This movie makes its own rules, like all Nolan movies, and it's like you just got to accept it, like as just being its own thing. And it's like I have too many questions.
But yeah, I mean, this movie does bring up a lot of questions, and one that one of the most popular ones is Cobb dreaming at the end? Is he still asleep, or is he still asleep? Because there's a bunch of different theories that he is or he isn't, and there's a bunch of different stuff.
The whole thing where he didn't want to look at his kids when he was back in that back with Maul at the end. So like then he looks at his kids. Like that's the first thing he does. He's like, "Oh, I'm not dreaming anymore." And then it's just like, "Are you?"
Yeah, well, because we don't know. Like the last shot, obviously, is the totem.
It does the whoop,
it wobbles a little bit, but we don't know for sure if it drops or not.
No.
So I think that he's still dreaming.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of evidence to the contrary that he's not dreaming. Because somebody noticed inside in the movie, whenever he's dreaming or whenever he's dreaming, he has his wedding ring on.
Okay.
And we see that proven time and time again throughout the movie. So whenever he's dreaming, he has the ring. Whenever he's not dreaming, he doesn't.
Okay.
At the end of the movie, he doesn't have the ring. So that would lead one to believe, oh, he's not dreaming. This is real life.
Uh-huh.
He made it through customs, and that's something that Cobb would never dream of because he wouldn't know the circumstances. That's another one that I saw people bring up. But his kids look exactly the same as he remembered them.
Yeah.
Like the same haircut, same size, same age.
It never says how long time has passed since any of this happened. So like that is also never established.
Right.
Like he says he could still see himself as the same. He could be older too. Like they said, like, oh, we grew old together in that dream. Like there was that shot of them old walking down the hallway together, or that corridor.
And they were in limbo together for 50 years.
Yes.
But yeah, like in real life, it just goes down the rabbit hole because what if Maul was right and they were actually still dreaming when they supposedly woke up?
Yeah.
It's all a mind fuck, man.
This whole movie is a mind fuck. Most Nolan movies I watched, except Batman, are mind fucks. So I mean,
yeah,
because he does his own thing with Batman, but like that's adapted. You can't really like go too far off the rails. People will be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, because fans are very touchy when it comes to that sort of thing. Admittedly, we'd be the same way. So yeah. But yeah, it's all very interesting, and it's so back into the actual movie though, instead of the theories though. I love this bit with Cobb shooting everyone and then catching the bullet and then catching the body to stay covert, kind of like not to alarm the subconscious. Yeah, it's like a cool little detail that they included in there.
He has to. I mean, like they're like, your subconscious will be like, what the fuck's up? What's going on?
Yeah, they'd be look at you. They start looking around. Well, that's what also that brings you back. Also, Arthur's a little creepy because but that one scene I'm talking about where he's like where he kisses Ariadne.
When he kissed,
he's like, worth a shot. A little creepy.
When he kissed Elliot, that was weird. Yeah.
Well, it backfired on him because now he kissed a dude. So.
Yeah, right. I mean, whatever. It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
My real first note was like, well, age caught up to Leonardo DiCaprio. Because he looks so young, even when they probably filmed this in 2008, 2009. Like, he looks so much younger than he does 11 years later. Like now, 12 years later now.
Yeah, I just saw Don't Look Up, and he looks pretty old in that.
He looks old.
Or he looks his age, I'll say that.
Yeah, he's in his 50s. So, I mean, like.
He's in his 50s?
Oh
my God!
He's been acting.
And admittedly, maybe he doesn't look his age. He looks like 10 years younger than his age, but like compared to now, he's definitely aged, or back then compared to back then.
Yes.
Because he always had kind of like boyish looks until he was like 40, I guess.
Yeah.
And now he's not.
He's not 50 yet. He's gonna be 50 in 2 years. But yeah, so he's 48.
48.
Yeah. So yeah, no, he looks about his age.
He was like 40 then.
Yeah.
He looks like 30.
Yeah. See, I mean, good skin, the Hollywood skin.
Yeah, the baby blood skin.
Oh my God.
That's what they do, Dan.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say that. Back to this movie. Anyway, that was just one off-topic note I had. Let's see.
So one of the theories that you mentioned, I'm not sure if we mentioned it on the podcast yet or not.
We haven't mentioned any theories really yet.
Okay, so didn't you say one of the theories was this is a prequel to The Matrix?
Yes, that is one of the ones I mentioned. Oh no, sorry. Inception is a prequel to The Matrix. So sometime after, this is Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, it's Reddit.
So sometime after the events of Inception, the technology used to induce lucid dreaming could be made for recreational use to the public.
Okay.
So Matrix, and they become so happy in their dream utopias they spend most of their lives living in that state.
Right.
And eventually the human race starts to dwindle and common futuristic machinery begins to improve in intelligence, basically running the show themselves, and humans continue to dream.
Okay.
That's basically the gist of it.
I'm going to blow up that theory right now.
Okay.
With this one simple line. The only reason this doesn't match up too well to being a prequel to The Matrix is that you die in the dream, you wake up, which is the opposite of the Matrix. If you die in The Matrix, you die in real life because the body cannot live without the mind. Boom. Blew up that theory. Sorry, Reddit, you suck.
That big scene, like when he's first introducing Ariadne to the dream stuff.
The big exposition.
That big exposition scene with all the CGI, not CGI. I don't know how much was CGI, how much was practical. Like all the boxes exploding, all the other stuff that was there. That was crazy.
Yeah. So my only theories, what they could have, what I would have done if I were them, I would have filmed Leonardo DiCaprio and Elliot Page on a green screen.
Yeah.
Them sitting in get a bunch of different angles on them put the little markers on the green screen to kind of get like perspective, right? Then film at the same angles at the like in real life at the bodega, and have a bunch of slow motion cameras capture the explosives at the same time. So you have like really high, like 10,000 frames per second cameras all capturing in one explosion at one time, and then that way you can speed ramp it at the same time, but then still have Leonardo DiCaprio and Elliot Page in regular time on the green screen. That's how I would do it. I think that's how they do it.
I mean, that would make sense. That's a hell of a task to even like.
Because if it was practical, I mean, nowadays you would just do CGI.
Yeah.
But if it's practical, that's how
you probably still would do CGI.
Yeah. Yeah. Christopher Nolan loves his practicality stuff.
I mean, yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
Like this whole movie looks fantastic with all the practical effects they did.
Yeah. Lots of slow motion and like intense slow motion, almost to the point where it gets annoying to me. Where it's like
it did get annoying to me.
Well, I mean, like in how slow everything's moving, not like the amount of it, like just how slow. Because like when Cobb, like specifically when Cobb gets thrown into the tub, you know what I mean? Like it takes like so long for him to just fall into the tub.
I mean, the same thing with the van. It's just what going into at the end.
It just gets so annoying to me because it's like I know what's gonna happen, and so we don't need this on screen for more than like 5 seconds.
But it's
cinematic.
It's cinematic, and that brings us to the other theory of: is this movie a metaphor for filmmaking?
Yeah, I definitely think it is, and I pulled up because it was confirmed by Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
I pulled up this article. So they have kind of nicknames for everybody. So Arthur's the point man, Ariadne is the architect.
Yep.
Eames is the forger, and Robert Fisher is the mark, and then Cobb is the extractor.
Yeah.
So all these are like kind of just terms for different things in filmmaking. And for example, so point man, producer. So Arthur's the producer. Architect is the screenwriter. Production designer. Sorry, my bad. Because she creates every setting. Forger is the actor because he's the one tasked with impersonating others in the dream, like becoming a different person. And the most interesting one, I think, is Robert Fisher, the Mark, because he's the audience. I thought that was really cool.
It's his dream. I mean,
yeah, I thought it was really cool to include. And then obviously the extractor, Cobb, he's the director because he's calling all the shots.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get, in a way it is like that's part of the theory, I think. I mean, is there more to it or is it just that essentially?
I think it was just to, just to say that. There's theories that like that's just one theory of like the calling the shots or who's like the person being who, because I remember watching a Watch Mojo video forever ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I don't like them anymore. They had this theory, and they said that Eames was the screenwriter because of that one scene where he has the grenade launcher. So like Arthur's trying to shoot at the bad guys with his regular AR, and Eames comes in with a grenade launcher. He's like, "You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling." And so they said that was like the screenwriter because he could dream up different things.
I mean, yeah, that
it fits.
Theoretically, it fits. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different kind of, they plug them in different areas. I think the only ones that stay common are the Mark and the extractor, director, and audience. So that just makes sense. So
yeah. So how does the structure of this film work, Danny? Do we want to get into a little structure 101?
We want to get into structure 101.
Yeah.
Welcome to Structure 101 with your host, Danny Wass.
It's me.
So, Structure 101, Act 1, Exposition. We get a feel for who Cobb is as a character, his situation, his occupation, and the premise of the movie, which is going to be, like Inception is a thing where we can incept, or we're going to be dealing with dreams and stuff, right?
Yeah, dreams inside dreams inside of dreams inside of dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they set up like the layers.
The layers.
Right in the beginning.
The layers.
The layers. Layers.
Ogres.
Ogres have layers. The inciting incident is Saito hires Cobb to incept his business rival. Makes sense. That's where we kind of get the plot going. Then the plot to point one is Ariadne is introduced. She's the audience character. But not to get confused with earlier what I was talking about with the Fisher being the Mark, who is the audience in the movie. Ariadne is the character that we latch onto as an audience, getting all the exposition thrown at us. Yeah. Then we start Act 2. Start of Act 2, they just assemble the team and they begin the heist, which is when they get on the plane. So most of the beginning of Act 2 is just screenwriters call it fun and games.
Yes.
And that's kind of like them testing out their theories, getting the exposition out of the way, establishing the team and stuff. So that's kind of glossed over. Then we have a first complication where Fisher's mind has security against an attack, where we feel like, oh no, now we have a twist. So now the stakes are higher,
Yeah.
Then we have the midpoint where Cobb convinces Fisher that he's the good guy, and Fisher joins the team to break into his own subconscious.
That's so funny.
And I wrote in one of my notes, this guy's getting cucked so hard in this movie. he's going through like a mountains of emotional abuse and trauma, and just getting through this all in like on a plane ride by these random people he doesn't know.
By the end, he's just like.
Yeah, he's just like so disturbed afterward.
What the
fuck? The second complication, though, Arthur has the fight in the elevator, and he starts to kick. So now we're starting to kind of get out of the depth of how like the hero's journey works, where we go into the depths of hell. That's what they call it.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're kind of on our way out now.
But our listeners might not know exactly what that is.
Basically, there's four quadrants to a story.
Hero's journey.
The hero's journey. There's the first quadrant, which is in the top right, where that's like we begin our journey. We begin our journey kind of breaking out of the normal world, and then we cross the threshold into a new world. Then we go to the bottom half in the bottom right. That is the start of hell, basically. So it's a new world that we're not introduced, or that we're getting introduced to, and we're learning the ropes and stuff.
Yes, fun and games.
Fun and games, right? But then we get to a midpoint where it's at the lowest that we've ever been. Typically, in this movie, it's not really that clear.
Yeah.
But like something like the Matrix, for lack of a better term, the midpoint is when Cypher betrays the crew, right?
Yeah.
That's like the worst thing that could happen, or it flips everything on its head. So that's the midpoint. And then now we're on the bottom left, where we're kind of coming up out of that, where we're returning to the new world, but we're learning things along the way. Then we have third act break climax, where that basically everything comes to a head. We get
the final battle.
We get the final battle. Yeah, we get revelations and stuff, and then we return to the new world, or the old world, having been a new person now.
Yes.
So that's the hero's journey in a nutshell. I did a really horrible job explaining it. But
oh, really? I understood it.
Yeah. But then we have plot point 2 in Inception. So now we're back on the Inception Structure 101.
Yes.
Which is the lowest point. Fisher is killed by Maul. Cobb enters limbo, and he goes after Saito. So this is like the all is lost moment where like we don't know what the fuck we're gonna do now. So then they think of a new idea. Like Ariadne thinks of a new idea.
Yep, we got to go into yeah.
Then we start Act 3. Fisher believes the Inception was his own idea, concluding that Inception does work. That's the main thing. There's a bunch of revelations, like Cobb gets over his guilt of Maul committing suicide, basically.
Yeah.
And then we have the resolution where everyone wakes up and finishes, I wrote in quotes, wakes up.
Yeah, because we don't know if they wake up.
We don't know for sure. And then they wake up on the plane, and they finish the plane ride, and then Cobb sees his family. And that's the end of the movie. So,
yep. And would you say we just did a cut-in within a cut-in right there?
Oh, yeah, we did do a cut-in with a cut-in.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah.
And that was Structure 101 with your host, Danny Was.
That was me.
So here's something I wanted to bring up regarding Eames as a character. I think he's the most interesting character in this movie because he can literally become other people. I think he's kind of like the wild card, or like the trick card that Cobb tends to use in this movie. And we just don't know too much about him. You know what I mean? And I think he's so cool because he's the only person with a sort of dream power. Like kind of like how Nightmare on Elm Street 3 had.
Yeah.
Where like, I think Kristen could pull people into the dreams. Kincaid was like super strong. Nancy was, I don't know what Nancy had, but one kid was a wizard master. Anyway, that's a different movie. But Eames is the only one who can change into people. And like, I don't know. They mentioned something like Yusuf is the chemist. But that's just because in real life, he can literally concoct a chemical that makes people sedated.
Oh. Okay.
So, like, nobody else has a dream power. I just thought that was interesting. Like, that could have been so cool if, like, Cobb had, like he could, like, form, like, weapons out of his body or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Maybe just a different kind of process, like, brain processing that can do that. Maybe different kinds of brains. Like, his is more artistic.
Yeah, that could be it.
Maybe I don't know. That might be going in a whole different direction, but
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I just thought it was really cool, and like it's like an aspect that Nolan, kind of a missed opportunity in my opinion. Nolan could have definitely gone down that route a little more.
Yeah, or like left brain versus right brain type of thing.
Yeah, do stuff like that. Play around with like the psychology, but it also would help if you did research. If you don't research what you're writing about.
No, I'm right.
Yeah, his ego got ahead of him there. So, I mean, if that's right, I'm not completely sure if that's right. So you got that from IMDb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been wrong before, as
yeah.
as we've been painfully aware of.
Yeah. All right. Last theory I got. So Inception could be a sequel to Shutter Island.
I like this theory.
And because Cobb is actually Teddy from Shutter Island, after he's, lobotomized at the end, his newly blended brain constructs a fictional reality where he continues to fixate on his dead wife and kids.
I love this idea.
It's a really cool,
I love it because it can actually in a way, confirm a theory that I have with this movie, where is Mal right about still being in a dream? Well, technically, yes.
Yeah.
And a lobotomized brain would have a bunch of inconsistencies with dreaming. For example, having a wedding ring in one setting and then not having a wedding ring in another one.
Yep.
Confusing whoever may be wanting to look at that projection, or I don't know. But that would make a lot of sense. And
they both came out the same year, too. So,
yeah.
both came out in 2010.
You think Scorsese and Nolan shared
like,
notes or whatever?
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of cool to think about, like, how that would, like, work. I'm just kind of looking at the producers, seeing if he was on a producer list there. No, he was not. Okay,
No,
damn.
probably not.
Rip. That would have been fun.
That would have been like, Scorsese?
You collab?
What are you doing here, bro?
No, I was looking to see if Nolan collabed on Shutter Island. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably not. He's usually like a solo guy.
Yeah.
There's only like the only guy I know that he teams up with is Wally Pfister. Who's always his DP usually.
Yes.
But like I don't think he was on Tenet. I think he had like a scheduling conflict or something.
Somebody else.
I don't know too much about Tenet. And we reviewed that one too.
That
was our first review. Can you believe that?
It was our first review of a movie in theaters, yes.
Yeah. It was the first movie I saw like after the pandemic.
Yeah. It was
in theaters.
Well, yeah. It was I fell asleep.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We watched it again. Didn't we?
Then we watched it again. I did. I liked it a little more. That's what I remember. It's just such a loud movie. Like there's so much. And that's another thing I wrote down. Like Nolan always wins the damn sound awards for like sound editing and mixing.
I don't know why, because it's actually known that like it's bad mixing.
Yeah.
Because if you can't hear the dialogue, that's bad mixing. That's just a definition of bad mixing. So I don't know why he wins these awards. I think it's just because he has that.
He got that pull.
Yeah, he's got that pull. But like, fucking, that's just like he was criticized for like the Bane voice in Dark Knight Rises because nobody could hear him. You know what I mean?
Hardy. Oh god.
I was wondering what would break first, what is it? Your spirit or your body?
Oh my god. See, I mean, like, whatever. We're not going there. We're not going to Dark Knight Rises right now.
Yeah, I think that might be. No, I think Interstellar is his worst movie.
Easily.
No. Maybe Dunkirk. I did not like Dunkirk.
Don't tell that to Sep.
Yeah, I know she likes Dunkirk. Yeah, I just didn't.
I mean, you know, I don't like it either. I don't like war movies. So.
Oh right, yeah. And that was World War I specifically too. So.
Except I actually kind of liked The King's Man. So
yeah, right.
It's
The King's Man is really good, and like I listened to another podcast, and they just shit all over it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I had no expectations going into that movie.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of helped it, I think.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
People need to get their heads out of their asses. It was good.
Yeah, it was better than the second one.
Yeah, second one wasn't too good.
Let's see.
So something that I'm kind of getting really deep here with all these theories and stuff, but something that I kind of question is if Maul was, let's say that Maul was right about still being in a dream, and this did this whole movie actually happen or not actually happen? Was it just like, as we might have theorized, it was part of Teddy's lobotomized brain? But what does that mean for, what does this movie say about life and death and like the simulation theory?
I was thinking that the whole time too.
Yeah.
Like there's these little things that they kind of implant in this movie that you just kind of think of. It's like, wow, this movie's deep. This movie's real deep. And
Yeah.
it's like, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, keep going with your simulation theory.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, like, is this movie gonna, like, I mean, it obviously didn't, but could this movie inspire people to commit suicide out of pure curiosity? I mean, because like I'm be lying if I said I wasn't curious. So like,
Yeah.
what happens when we die? I'm not gonna do it. But like,
yes. I know you're not. But like, yeah, this is gonna be something we talk about more on another movie we're gonna be doing later on this season, The Truman Show, because like living in a simulation type of thing.
Yeah. That movie's gonna be fucked up.
It's gonna be wild. But yeah, like what happens when you die? Like, yeah, religion, yada yada. Then there's also like the people who are like, yeah, we are living in the Matrix, or we're living in like a video game, or like nobody else around us is real except us. It's like conscious or whatever.
Right. Well, that's the theory I wanted to. So like, I actually kind of came to that theory on my own one day, where like, stupid cat. I came to that theory on my own one day where I'm thinking like, I know my experiences in life right now are happening, like through me, like through my perspective, through my eyes. When I go to sleep and I wake up every morning, I'm still the same person, right? So that makes me think: is everybody else experiencing the same thing, or are they just projections, or like
of
my subconscious, right? So it's like,
is this a message right now from my subconscious?
That's so interesting to me, because it's like, what if it, and like I imagine somebody who is mentally ill would, if they were thinking like that, could come to the conclusion, oh, I just need to kill myself to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, if you're stuck in that subconscious for 50 years and you don't know what's real and you locked yourself away from what is real, like, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, like I wonder, did they go to sleep in limbo? Because if they did,
that's another good point.
If they went to sleep, then that would be like erasing the line right there.
Yeah.
Because the second you go to sleep in limbo, like, where do you go? Do you stay in limbo, or do you like reset the day, or like what the fuck happens? You know what I mean?
They can make anything happen.
Yeah, literally.
It's a dream, dude. Like they can literally
so
construct anything they want. That's what they start taking from real life. And then when he's talking to Ariana,
yeah.
Actually, Ariana.
Ariana.
When he was talking to Ariana and like saying, "Don't take things from real life because you're gonna not be able to tell what's real and what's fake." That's a whole other thing, and it's like, ooh, yeah,
yeah,
interesting. But
well, you brought up religion.
Yes.
So I my theory is that like religion is kind of like a coping mechanism for like just people in regular life. Like, where do we go at when we die? Oh, well, you go to heaven, and you get to every religion has some sort of heaven and hell, or I think reincarnation.
Yes, reincarnation is another one. Yeah, heaven, hell, reincarnation. Lights out.
Yeah. Is there any religion that just says that it's just like you go to sleep?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's a little dark.
Atheism.
Atheism. Yeah. Well, because that's my theory, where it's like I think when you die, or at least I'm not sure what I believe anymore, but I used to think when you die, it's just going to sleep, and the only reason you knew that you were asleep was because you woke up the next day, but you didn't dream, and everything was just black. Well, you ever have one of those days where you just go to sleep and you don't dream or anything, and you just wake up the next day?
That's me every day.
You don't dream?
I don't dream, dude.
You're so weird. It's so weird, dude.
Dude, I don't. Like, it's weird. Every once in a while I will, but it takes a lot, man. Like, most of the time I'm just out. Just like passed out.
Wow.
I also it's weird. I don't know.
I always have some sort of something happening, even if it's like a little tiny dream. Like, I always have something going on. I think I only remember like 2 times in my entire life where I didn't do that. Where like one time specifically, I was like my friend slept over, and we had just gone back from like a concert or whatever, and I just remember falling asleep on my bed like sideways. Maybe that was it. Maybe because I was sleeping sideways, but that like made it so like I didn't dream that night, and it was like an instant, like just like a snap, like I just woke up the next morning and everything was fine.
Yeah.
So it was really weird, but that's the only time I can really remember that happened.
Yeah, I got 2 weird dreams. Like, well, I mean, there's the dream that everybody has where pulling teeth, like when you're losing your teeth. Where that I hate those dreams. Like
That's never happened to me specifically.
Really, you've never had like a dream where like you're losing your teeth and you can like feel them being like ripped out, or like not ripped out, but like you feel them falling out. It's weird. I hate that. It's weird. I don't know why it happens, but it happens sometimes. Or I know when I was a kid, like maybe 6 or 7, I know I was like really dead tired one day. I just like, bam, passed out, like hit my head on the pillow, woke up the next day instantly. It was crazy. I was like, whoa.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, whoa. That was like, I don't think I dreamed it all. I dreamt it all, but it was like, it's never happened. It hasn't happened since. And I don't know why it even happened, but it was crazy.
That's weird, man.
So like 8 hours just went by like
that's
that.
so cool. That's so cool. Well, like in my opinion, that kind of feels like that wouldn't it like save you time? Like, I mean, not literally, but like it would kind of feel like it would. I don't know how to explain it, but like whenever I go to sleep, it always like waking up. I feel like it would be easier to wake up and kind of get ready for the day if that happens, if you didn't dream, because you're not kind of like still like halfway in that zone and you just kind of. It just happens.
Yeah, you're not in REM sleep or whatever. It's
is that true REM sleep though?
Yeah,
because like that's like
it's like deep sleep. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it takes like an hour or two for you to actually enter REM sleep, and usually if you come out of it, like it's hard to get back into it. Like if you wake up in the middle of the night, so that's why you always wake up groggy or something if you wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when I take a nap. You ever wake up and
you must have. If you take too long of a nap, that's why like they only say to take like 30-minute naps or 10 to 30-minute naps or something like that.
Like power naps and stuff.
Yeah, if you take like a 4-hour nap, you're just fucked. For the next day.
That definitely happened to me. Like when
our good old podcast guest Joe Garcia, who decides to take 4-hour naps in the middle of the day, or go to bed or go to bed at 2 a.m. every night.
Oh my god! And wake up at 3:30.
He wakes up at 3.
He wakes up at 3?
Yeah.
He sleeps for an hour?
Some days, man.
Oh my god.
Like that man.
He's a machine, then.
That's all my putting it. Yeah, insomnia's a bitch.
Yeah. I think I've had insomnia once, but it didn't last too long.
No, it's not something you can have. It's something you actually have, like every time you go to sleep or you try to go to sleep. Like you can actually fall asleep relatively easily, right? Like for the most part.
Relatively, but there's been a few times where like I just couldn't go to sleep.
That's just because you're thinking. Like it's
probably.
Yeah,
but it's like a legit like chronic disease.
Yeah, like you can be diagnosed with it and stuff, and it just takes so much for you to go to sleep because your mind is either always thinking or it's just like even when you're not thinking, you're just trying to fall asleep, you just can't, and then eventually you do, but like it doesn't help.
So you gotta stop. You gotta like stop your brain.
It sounds awful.
It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, so back to Inception.
Okay. Yeah, we got a big
way,
tangent there.
I wonder if Maul's death led to the establishment of totems.
Yeah.
Because like, do we know if that was a theory or that was like established beforehand?
Well, when did he make this crew? I mean, that was after Maul's death, obviously. So like, yeah, he must have been like, you all need a totem to figure out when you know you're like in the real world and awake. Yeah. So something significant to you, like his was the
little dreidel thing.
Yeah, the dreidel thing. Then
which some people theorize that that his actual totem is his wedding ring because of the whole theory between yeah. But yeah.
And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character Arthur.
Yeah.
Arthur had the die, so I don't know how he would have realized that. I don't know how that works, but
he probably just chose the die.
Like
it could be arbitrary like that.
But like for Cobbs, like he has to spin it to make sure it's in real life. But like,
he said something about the weight of it.
Oh, the weight. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. No wait, I didn't catch any other totems. I know there are others in there, but like,
yeah, I forgot. Ariadne probably picked one, but like I remember her or she picked one, but I don't remember what.
Oh, what's his face's Cillian Murphy's character, I can't remember his name now. His was that
Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher. His was that flag from his dad, wasn't it? Like
the pinwheel,
the pinwheel thing.
Yeah,
that was his. I guess. Cool. I guess, or it became his.
I think that was just like a symbol of like his childhood or something like that. Like that was him giving himself like a pass to to break up the I'm not sure if that was a totem or not.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. That was
It's really metaphorical.
You see, that's another thing I don't get. Like, what was that point of that? Like,
So I can't. I've seen this movie 4 times now, and I still can't decide whether or not it's sad or happy that he breaks up his father's legacy. Like, because I guess I'm not good at reading what that interaction. So like, he says, I'm not disappointed that you didn't live up to me. I'm disappointed that you tried. And that to me sounds like a sad line. Like your man, my dad's a dick. And it would make sense because that's coming from his literal subconscious. Mm-hmm. This is literally what he thinks of his father. Mm-hmm. So that seems to me like a bad line, but I'm not sure. But it's played like it's a happy line.
Metaphors, man.
Metaphors. So crazy. And then like he has emotional catharsis. Like they say it in the middle of the movie. They're like, Eames said like this man's relationship with his father was way more fucked up than I thought it was. Mm-hmm. and then they said that's a good thing because more emotional catharsis. And I'm like, okay. So that emotional catharsis, yeah, it does look really powerful towards the end, but like, is it like a happy catharsis, or like is it like being? It's kind of like the Whiplash thing where where the father was like, I wasn't sure if the father was happy or sad that Andrew was with Fletcher now.
Yeah,
it's kind of that like same thing where like I'm not sure what is going on with Fisher at that moment. I don't know what's going on in his head.
I think he's confused as well. He just doesn't know what to think. I mean, he's probably in the same boat. He's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's less ironically, it's less confusing for him than it is for us because he just thinks that he broke into his dad's partner's subconscious. Yes. He doesn't realize it's literally his own subconscious.
Yeah, no.
So,
yeah, that's true.
You're getting I can see you getting all like, what the fuck's happening? My mind is broken.
Yeah, this has been like the most intellectual, weird ass conversation we've had on this podcast. Oh my God.
And of course it was Inception.
Of course it's Inception. Of course it's Nolan. And of course it's like my bedtime. So it's just a combination of things right now.
It's my bedtime.
It's my bedtime.
But yeah, do you want to give the ratings on this one?
Yes. I don't have anything else to say necessarily from my notes. Yeah, this movie, third time watching it, it's still rewatchable every time. I catch new things every time. I mean, this is the first time I actually did research on the movie too. Like during the movie, I was looking up things. I'm like, okay, trying to follow along, okay, that's this, that's that. Like, okay. Yeah. So I'm putting more things together as like with each rewatch, and there are parts of this movie that just don't need to be there. But I mean,
there's a few. Yeah, there's like, I feel bad. Like for example, the first architect guy.
Yeah,
he just gets taken off the helicopter. We never see him again.
No,
we don't know what the fuck happens to him. And I think it's just real shitty for that guy. First of all, be included. You could have just not had the architect. You could have just had Cobb be the architect or whatever in the beginning, or Arthur even. Like, what's he doing?
Well, he's unstable as shit, so I don't think they want him as the architect.
Don't have Cobb, but maybe Arthur though.
Yeah, maybe
he would have been okay.
But like, they don't know how good he was though. Like, I think they mentioned something where he wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if they mentioned it, but they might have.
I think I remember something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really well-made movie. It's, of course, Nolan just being superior to everybody else intellectually.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the mainstream director that everyone knows right now.
Yeah.
Other than, what, Scorsese?
Tarantino, yeah.
Those are like the big 3 that are working right now.
James Gunn.
I don't think
Russo
James
brothers.
Gunn is in the zeitgeist as much as
Russo brothers.
Same thing, Russo brothers. I think they're just Marvel.
Okay.
They're not known as like directors. They're just known as the Marvel guys, right?
Fair point. But yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a 87.
87.
87.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little lower, like 82.
Yeah.
Because watching this for the 4th time, there's a lot of shit that just isn't explained.
Yeah.
But maybe at the same time that's like meant to be interpreted and stuff.
Yeah,
so you can
'cause-
have some douchey explanation like that. But I like my answers.
Well, it definitely makes for good conversation because I think that's another thing he probably wanted is like people to talk about this movie and be like, okay, what happened? Like this, like what we're doing, like talking on a podcast about this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other different conversations that we can have about this movie that don't even relate to the movie. Like what we had with
Like
the
life and death
the
and
dreams,
stuff, yeah.
life and death, like so many other things like that.
So yeah, that's where the movie succeeds. But where it fails is actually in execution. Mm-hmm. A lot of areas because you have suspension of disbelief. You just kind of have to go with it, even though this movie wants you to look into certain things, but not these things over here, like the machine, like where they all dream together.
Yeah.
And the exposition dumps are very like they feel very first drafty to me, even though I know this movie was written 11 years in the process.
Yeah.
So, it just and the sound mixing. It's a lot of technical aspects that just kind of fall short in a lot of aspects. But I think the premise and experience of this movie makes it worthwhile. So that's why it's not like a failing grade or anything. But 82 is where I'm going to land on that one. So yeah.
All right, so we are Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle at Seen It Beforecast. That's SCENE, because movies. But yeah, I'm Dan. You can also find me on Instagram with the handle at Dan the Donut Man 1. I post concert photos. Not music reviews, but I kind of like reviewed music a while ago, like bands and, top 25 songs, whatever. I'm going to start doing some movies, like my top 10 movies of the year. We all got that coming up soon at some point. Yeah.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny_Was or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. I haven't posted in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I think my last post on Instagram was like taking your idea with like the bands and ranking them.
I think you did it like once.
Yeah, it was just ranking all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
That was like my last post on Instagram. That was like a year ago.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about maybe starting up my YouTube channel again.
Say that.
I have a few ideas. It's just it depends if I want to like get in front of a camera and like
If you
speak
had time.
No, now I got time, but
Okay,
like,
fair. All right.
yeah, I got plenty of time. But yeah, I don't know. Pay attention to Seen It Before socials because we're going to be posting teases on Fridays for what movie's coming up, and then we're going to be posting that movie or that podcast on Sunday and revealing it on Sunday. So
yeah, in the tease, we're not revealing the movie. We are just like our trivia we used to do on Movie Drunks. We're doing that in the teases now, so to give you a little sneak peek at what's coming and see if you can guess the movie type of deal.
yeah,
Something.
a fun little activity.
A little activity, even though it's not really an activity. It's just a video.
Just let us know in the comments if you can guess it. Like you might have guessed this movie, Inception, and for the last one, if you guys were paying attention to socials. So, yeah, we always like engaging with our fans, and hope to see you guys next week.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been an honor.
It has been an honor.